Welcome back to Dicey Shores, where RPG dice determine my path to progressing through brighter shores. And yeah, last time we were pondering the crystal. It's not quite our orb, but you know what? We'll ponder our crystal, I guess. That's stupid. Hi. So before we continue with the main quest, I did just want to show you, I sorted out this, and I forget if I had this in the sheet last time, so if I did, that's not new. But what I have changed is basically, so this is going to function as our KP counter, and what will happen now is on the back end of the sheet, I'm calculating out what this number should be for the combat level that we are. So basically, if, for example, the next knowledge point unlock was at level, I don't know, 30, and the moment that our combat changes to 30, this sort of lights up similar to the way that Golans light up, telling me, okay, you need to be putting KP into this. And so the idea of that is, if we have multiple skills that hit 20 at the same time, we'll kind of have a little list rather than a checklist like the Golans would be, because that list will get very, very long with all of the different passive unlocks that we have in every skill. Rather than doing it that way, I figured that was probably the cleanest way to accomplish that. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I sort of breezed through that, but I do want to keep this gravy train rolling. So, some magic beyond a tangled briar. I believe that's going to be okay. So I don't think it's this one. There's a couple of different bramble areas that that kind of, if you have the woodcutter level, you can essentially it's kind of like a shortcut. But if you don't, this would be a shortcut area. But if you don't have it, you kind of have to take the long way around. So I'm going to go where I for sure know where one of the crystals is, or one of the magic bits is, and that is the lair of the, nope, that's not it. That's the lair of this two-headed bear over here. I believe it's in his honey. We have to pillage Winnie the Pooh's honey stash a little bit, which is unfortunate. But we need to go up and deal with that, and I am hoping this is another situation where I think we have to fight the bear. I'm hoping that we have the combat level for it. And if we don't, I'll have to tweak the spreadsheet a little bit. But B, we might get back to rolling sooner than I thought. Wow, that bear just died. Man's dead. Right. So the two-headed bear clearing. Ooh. So that is level 35. So on the back end of the spreadsheet, I'm going to make a couple of tweaks, and then we will actually get back to rolling much quicker than I thought. Okay, so on the back end of this, I've changed the formatting of that lights up for hide and seek here to not go off until we are at or above 35 combat, in addition to the other requirements that we've already hit. So yeah, I guess it's a good thing I set up the dice cam today, despite not thinking that we were going to get back to this. So let me just refresh myself on what is possible currently. I believe we are still, we're still locked on alchemy. We are still good on, right? We have the eels level. Is that gray jellied eels? Yeah, we have the eels level, and oaks, we have the oak level. Okay, so like I went into, I believe, last episode after the blunder of last time, our D8 results are as they appear on the screen. Simply put, when we roll alchemy, or if we roll alchemy, we will just re-roll it. I think that is the cleanest way to do this. So without further ado, let us do our first roll. And that's 4, which is back to chef. So we're actually going back to Hopeport then. So we're not quite at the point where we are going. Well, that's good because I actually have a lot of stuff in my inventory I gotta sort through and drop off. So yeah, we're not quite at the point where we can progress the main quest, but that's okay because at the very least we have access to Hope Forest, which was like the main quest is a means to an end for me, right? Like I simply just wanted to advance the main quest in order to I just need to make sure I do backpack. I have a habit of depositing all of my equipment by accident on my main, and it is very frustrating. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the main quest, I mean, you know, ultimately, yes, the goal is to move down those golems, but it was a means to an end to get rolling in the Hope Forest skills, because that unlocks alchemy for us, and it just keeps the account progressing. And eventually there is a main quest requirement to get the Hope Forest skill anyway, the like total level for Hope Forest even. I'm just checking. Yeah, as I suspected. Oh, actually, you know what? That's a fair bit of gray eel. So we might be good. I forgot that we were slightly farther in Fisher, so I'm gonna do a little bit of math here. Okay, assuming that I've got my math right, which is, you know, not always the fairest assumption, I believe it should actually take us 12 to do this. So we'll go ahead and buy 12 jelly and crack on with our chef training. So yeah, like the progress, I actually don't know what the near future holds, interestingly. Like, I feel like more often than not, I am coming across combat grinds that maybe weren't as, or combat goals that weren't maybe as clearly defined on the wiki. It's like, it's challenging, right? Like, with an early access game, I think things change maybe a little bit more than they usually would, and I do want to give like a massive shout out to all the folks working on the wiki. I have tried to contribute where I can. There was a point where the table for alchemy passives was pretty empty, and it was right around when on my main I hit 200 that I started really grinding passives. So as I went and I kind of learned about those passive experience levels, I did try to do my part and fill things in on the wiki. But with the combat rework and, you know, certain quests having different quest requirements, especially with the level scaling on quests, I imagine it's very challenging to sort of define a hard requirement for these things. You know, and that, you know what, maybe when the game is in official like 1.0, it'll, you know, I don't know, somebody or myself can, you know, if anybody else wanted to play an account like this, could like clearly define an actual working like spreadsheet or website with those hard requirements in place. But until then, there's going to be a lot of, I think, on the fly pivoting. I've said it from the jump. Just given the nature that this is an early access game, we're gonna have to do that quite frequently. But what we're also gonna have to do is roll again, because we have just aced our chef requirement. I'll get that logged on the sheet right there. That puts us at 47 Hopeport, which is lovely to see. And we will get another roll going. So our dice table remains the same. Actually, the dice table is going to remain the same until we leave Hope Forest, so. And we won't leave Hope Forest anytime soon because that is woodcutting. So we actually are going right on back to Hope Forest to do oak logs. Great. Let's just sell these quickly. And let's see if we can't figure... Wow, there are a lot of locations for these. Let's see if we can't figure out what the best place to do this is. That's actually pretty dang central. I'll probably just quickly discover some of these surrounding areas to also slowly work on the main quest. I'm kind of torn between looking up locations of things for the quests, like looking up quest guides basically, to sort of move this along and not fumble around on camera, because I feel like I may have done a little bit of that last episode. I feel like the commentary maybe gets a little less meaningful when I'm just like reading quest stuff. But I don't know, maybe that's just me being hard on myself. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know, like I do want to experience the stuff in this game, but at the same time I've also already experienced it on the main, and so I don't know, like I guess it's up to you folks watching if you'd rather see the quests or you'd rather like me breeze through the quests. I'm pretty much okay with either. It makes not a lot of difference to me, just because, like I said, like I've been doing the quests on my main. Right, so is that... So I'm missing one last oak. That's alright. I will find it when I find it. I'll probably just off camera at some point look it up. Oh my god, okay. Alright, never mind. We're done. There is no off camera. I forgot how quick these levels are going to be this early on. So, great. That's 3 woodcutter. That's logged on the sheet. Puts us at 7 Hope Forest. And that means we are going to swiftly move on to... back to Chef. Awesome. I think that's more eels. Is that more eels? Oop, that's Fisher. I heard eels and I clicked on where you get eels, not the actual thing. Oh, I should... I'm gonna go bank this log real quick, and I'll see you at the dab. Alright, so according to my always correct, always accurate calculations, it's gonna be 15 eels that push us to the next chef level. So I was just thinking off screen, or off camera rather, that so at the time of recording, this is the day after the, whoops, I literally can't do that. That's my max inventory. There we go. The 4th weekly leak just dropped, and what's really exciting to see, so like it seems like not a lot of Stonemaw Hill progress is necessarily being made. Well, not that progress isn't being made. It's more so like they're still in the, like the infographics really haven't shifted much from what I can see. But it seems like the Hopeport 6-star quest is getting pretty close to release based on what they put out this week. It looks like it's in the polishing stage, and then the only thing left is release. So I don't know if they've said how much time polishing typically takes anywhere, but that's really exciting to see. And yeah, I'm stoked about that. We're probably not going to be able to do Hopeport 6 anytime soon, but it's, you know, I love having more goals be tacked on to our list for, like, as this game gets more and more content. I think it'll keep the account fresh, you know. Obviously, selfishly, I want Stonemaw Hill sooner rather than later, just from a standpoint of once we hit that cap, on how far we can go with alchemy. At 23, we're done with alchemy until that episode releases. So, you know, obviously there's 7 other skills that we can proceed with, but I think if we ever got to a point, which I think we're nowhere near, if we ever got to a point where I had done everything on the Golans, I think I would put a pause to the account. I wouldn't want to roll anymore until, like, I wouldn't want to just like keep grinding for the sake of grinding. Again, unless that's something that people want to see. I think it's more interesting when there's content to work toward, personally. That's kind of like the dilemma I'm having with my main. Like, I think this morning I got to 35. Well, I can't see because I don't have Kren unlocked, but I think I got to 35 leatherworker, maybe even higher. And so once I hit 50, I think I have all the requirements to basically do every quest in the game currently. The 2 Chronopolis side quests and the rest of the main quest. So it's like, after that point, what do I do? Do I just work on 50s? I'll pause that train of thought. We did just get 12, unlocked our bacon Sammys. So let's sell these and let's get another dice roll. All right, back to killing stuff. I just love killing. It is... Oops. It's the Vagabond Goblins, which is good because I just happened to wander into the Goblin camp while I was looking for that last oak tree before. So that's perfect. As we know, combat is a little bit tricky for our account. So we are going... Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to quickly go through what we unlocked, or what we deposited at the Quartermaster, and see if we have any... Like, just make sure that we are wearing our best in slot. But yeah, while I do that, it's this thing, like... Do I want to keep advancing on the main for the sake of number go up, or oh good, we did get better legs there, or do I want to put a pause on it for the time being until there's more content? Like, I don't know, like, I want to keep supporting the game, you know, but I also don't want to grind so hard that I have nothing to work for when new quests come out. Because that's kind of like, it was nice to just be able to go right into Herbalist Hurdle when that came out. But at the same time, I kind of like grinding toward a goal. So it was like, oh, okay, well, I already have the goal. Like, so I don't know. I'll figure it out. Oh. What am I doing? But we will see. I mean, because I didn't start with range, I might as well just reset this fight. We'll see. I did get some good advice that Sword and Shield is probably the way to go, and if I think I'm not, like, if by the time I'm at like 20% health, I think, and they're not even close to dead, I think it's a loss. So I'm gonna try and be a little bit better with that. I know I always say that, but like I for real mean it this time. But yeah, like I was toying with the idea of at least getting base 50s in every skill, which I think I'll do while I wait for more content on my main. Because at the very least, having a cape in every skill would be cool. Oh, metal buckler. I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, because I still have a guard shield. Oh, well, that's why I've never seen it. Wow, that's wild. Oh, and you know what? I just realized I'm not playing my main, and I'm a Cryo Knight. So I'm gonna start seeing equipment that I have literally never gotten. I'm like, wait, how do I still have a guard shield? I'd like completely forgot which account I was playing. Which which is bad given that this account has rules that I should be following. But these, you know what, I'm gonna regret saying this, but the goblins, these fights seem to be going pretty well. It feels like Sword and Shield is the move, and it feels like we are surviving. I'll keep an eye out. I also did, I think I mentioned this last time, but so I play on Steam Deck as well as at my desk, because I kind of have to be at my desk to record this. But that did get close, but you know what? That's fine. But I did just find out how to record on Steam Deck. Now, what I would do is, and I don't think this is going to matter until there's like longer grinds, like until I'm doing like, you know, something that's going to take me an hour between levels. I don't think that will matter until then, but it's nice to know that I can. This is looking close. Oh, this is hard. I have such bad judgment. No, okay, we're good. Jeez. I think by that point where grinds are gonna take me like an hour to do, I will probably maybe record some on Steam Deck while I'm like hanging out like with my wife or something, and then just do voiceover in post and just sort of like check in. This one's feeling a little too close, so I'm going to practice what I preach and immunity. But yeah, it's a nice option. It's something that, like, you know, I don't have to be sat at my desk with the recorder going. I can just sort of like record in the background, hopefully. I gotta figure out how it works. But just so that you're at least seeing some progress while I'm not sat at the desk. Another thing I thought about was like streaming while I grind. I don't know that that's... I haven't streamed in ages, so I have to like remember how to do it. Like remember all the settings and everything. But B, as long as it's like interesting, like I don't know, like me clicking the same thing and yapping for 2 hours is probably not the most engaging content, but it might be cool to A, show progress during those longer grinds, and B, actually live chat with people, because again, there's like, you know, as more of these videos come out and more people find them, like it has been really cool to sort of like chat with people in the comments about things. Like it's been really neat. So I don't know, thanks for watching. I know I don't really do like the call to action nonsense of like and subscribe. This is very much just a like fun little side thing I'm doing right now. But yeah, I don't know, I appreciate it nonetheless. Like it's really nice, and it is fun to chat with folks in the community. And oh my god, is that our first look at that? Ooh, bro, like I love Big Hammer, but like I like this armor a lot. Would be interesting to get to a point where we could like transmog to other class armor. I don't know if that makes sense. I said that and then I was like, well, what's the point of picking the class? I mean, obviously the buffs and debuffs, but like, I don't know. Would be kind of cool though. The metal armor does look really like objectively better, in my opinion. Although I love Big Hammer. Big Hammer is where it's at, man. Hammer Mage for life. That was a weird little bit of pathing. At the very least with cosmetics, like transmogs, there seems to be a lot of interest from people in like the guard armor. At the very least, that should be a transmog. If not the class armor, because I think class armor makes less sense, just from a standpoint of like differentiating classes and like RP. I think that because the main story has us as canonically a member of the Hopeport Guard, it makes sense to to have guard armor be consistent across all classes. I don't know if I don't think it drops above 55, which I think is the point where you have to select your class, or maybe it's 100 now. I forget. They changed it at some point, I think. But yeah, like that transmog makes sense to me. Selfishly wanting Cryonite armor on a Hammer Mage, probably less realistic. I just like metal armor. I would be curious to hear people's advice on this. So, this bow does impact at 54, or strength 54. It's always going to be impact damage, I imagine. This one's 53, but it's 37% chance at dealing Arboret. Is that... Whoop. I was yapping for way too long. Because I was sitting here thinking about it, and then... I don't know. Like, I still don't fully understand. I think it's a better bow. I think, by all accounts, it's a better bow. But I can't really work out what the I don't know what the DPS is, I guess, or the trade-offs of damage. I don't know. I click Goblin, I fight Goblin, I hope I win. Whoa. You get rapiers as Cryonites? This changes everything. That's actually so cool. Hell yeah. That's so sick. Okay. I love my equipment on this. Like, it's not big hammer, but it's so... Look at my guy go, dude. I'm a fencing man. Yeah, I think one hand and shield has absolutely been the shout. I forget offhand who suggested that, but thank you so much, because honestly, like, even on the close fights, I feel like it's still reliable. Like, I feel like they're never heavily out damaging me the way that I was getting absolutely rocked by ghouls. Oh, and hello, knowledge point. So we have nothing to advance it in, so that's some sweet dollars for us. But yeah, sword, one-handed, absolutely the shout. The shield, the extra damage from, or the extra defense from the shield rather, definitely seems like it's doing work. Whoops, my pathing, however, might get me killed sometimes. I'd be interested to see how, like, when combat rework phase 2 comes out, how we take our, well, first of all, like our combat tree. Like, I don't know how we're gonna determine that. I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit. I would like to incorporate dice rolls into it, but I also don't want to totally kneecap the account if there's absolutely no synergy because everything was randomly picked. I think I would probably, if it works this way, I would probably spec into more defense, just like some more survivability, just given that, like, we're so limited on our potions because of how many we can make or can't make, I guess, more accurately. Yeah, I feel like I would spec more into defense if that's an option. But yeah, interested is to see that when that comes out. I know that's a little bit ways away, but, well, it might be. It probably is. It seems like they're focusing mostly on quests at the minute, based on the weekly leak. But yeah, it was just a random thought I had, kind of off the back of sitting here and being like, wow, my gear's actually, like, doing well right now for being at level at these goblins. Just casting my mind back to how many times I died to the plants and the ghouls. Definitely an improvement for sure. So it's funny, my mind went back to the barracks, just like grinding out chests for some reason. I think I was looking up the goblins to calculate out XP and I noticed there are like drop tables on the wiki, and obviously they're probably pretty well in progress. Like it's not set in stone, completed, what have you. But like I was curious about it. I might be cooked. Yeah, if you could believe it, that was my first death. So low effort combat with my current equipment, so I haven't really had to watch too closely. Anyway, so like interestingly, the drop table for the goblins, it's like, you know, it said it was tentative. It was like, oh, there's a 2 out of 5 chance you'll roll on the equipment table, faction equipment table, or faction list if you haven't chosen a faction, etc. And that got me thinking. I was like, oh, I want to see the barracks ones, because we were getting some like really odd drops from that, and it does seem like they're set to certain levels of items. So I know we saw the arrow tooth flounder, I believe. I'm trying to remember what like the highest level thing we got, but like, yeah, like there's a rare chance you'll get a level 172 flounder. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Like obviously Chester Shores, as as the comments put it, which I love, is probably not viable, but I did want to look into that, because it would be sort of cool if there was a way to, like, maybe this is just the barracks driving me crazy, but like, what if I searched chests until I got a skilling item, and then I had to level to the point where I could then use that skilling item? Like, that would be kind of crazy. Also, these throwing axes are sick, and these guys are vulnerable to Tempest Day, so I am going to switch to that. But yeah, that's interesting. You know what? I know the wiki is ever evolving. Again, shout out to the people maintaining that and like updating it. But yeah, that's funny as hell. I wonder if there's a world where Chester Shores can exist. And if somebody's already doing that, please link me their channel, because that's absolutely bonkers and I love it. Ooh, a battle axe. Oh, okay. Nowhere near a new two-hander, but that's okay, because like you guys said before, we're gonna hopefully rely on one-hand and shield for as long as we can. It does seem to be keeping us alive, but this... No. 2 more goblins should take us to the next level. I don't know how much, like, usability this would gain somebody, because I was just watching this guy use a crossbow over here. It's like, oh, what if, like, you could upgrade your weapons? Like, the crossbow can, 23 combat, by the way. The crossbow can be or a ranged weapon can be increased to like fire 4 shots if it was like, I know certain tiers of ranged weapons fire different amounts of shots, but it would be cool if you could like put an improvement on an uncommon bow to like make it fire 4 instead of 3 or something, or change its damage type. I don't know. I'm just interested in that sort of thing, I guess, where they can take combat to further heights. But that I think is where we're gonna call it here. Look at us, like we've got some new gear. Look at, oh, and we've also got a murder on site. Oh my goodness, we gotta get out of here. This is scary. But yeah, like we're starting to get new equipment. We died once in that combat grind, if you could believe it, and that doesn't sound like a major accomplishment, but when you're playing like I am, it's kind of huge. So yeah, 78 total. Can't be mad at that. Can't be mad that we're back to rolling. Eventually we will get back to our Golans, but until then, we'll keep on rolling dice. and then I'll edit in sunglasses coming down onto. I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, have a good one.